Time for class. Hello there. Welcome, welcome. I'm Miss Faust. Please make sure you definitely have paper out today. And a pen or pencil. Yes, again. We're ready for class. Here we go. Yes, today we're doing an activity for which you need to make sure you take some notes, especially when it comes down to the assignment itself. Okay, are you ready? Let me give you a few seconds. While you're getting your paper together and your pen or pencil, I'm going to get my board and a marker. At least one of the boards. Yeah, more than one board today. Yes, you got it. Okay, we call it today Creativity Time. Experiences. Woo! Experiences. Now, I want us to think back to about February when we did the Harlem Renaissance. Remember, we talked about Dudley Randall and Robert Hayden. Yes, we did have Langston Hughes, but for this purpose, we're only going to focus on Randall and Hayden, if at all, because I'm going to use them as examples. Does that make sense? Okay. So yes, our focus is on that word experiences. Namely, two different kinds. Okay, your assignment today is going to be the following. Here we go. Note taking. Yeah, of the assignment. Yeah, and anything else that you think, I might need to know that. Okay. So you might want to put a pause to the video or however you want to do it. Okay. One moment. Let me check my notes on one little item. Okay, yes. So this assignment is a little different. I need you to choose a historical experience, so something that happened in history, okay? Or a personal experience. Now, when I talk about a personal experience, I am not talking about an experience that's personal. Do you understand what I'm saying? That is really personal, okay? So don't talk, you could talk about your 16th birthday or when you got your car or you went to your older sibling's graduation from high school or you got a new bike, something like that's the kind of experience we're talking about, okay? So nothing personal. Please remember that. Please make sure you make a note of that. Okay, see, note taking. There you go. And when we talk about historical, as I said, yes, an event that happened in history. And now remember, I mentioned the Harlem Renaissance. Okay, that is an event. It was literary and it was historical. If you're interested, the continuation of that period, so to speak, would be once you hit the 50s and you go into the 60s and early 70s. We're talking about the civil rights movement. If that interests you, that historical time, okay. If a battle in one of the wars, World War I, World War II, interests you, that's what I'm talking about, okay. All right. Now, it's not something that I want you to research, but it's something that you've learned from the past, your past classes. Something that you were like, I like that. Now that Napoleon sounds really fascinating. And you really paid attention when your teacher was talking about Napoleon and yeah? Okay, you understand. Fantastic. So choose either a historical or personal experience to write. Here we go. Please make sure you get this down in your notes. To write a poem. Now you might say, wait, Miss Faust, we haven't done any poetry writing. Well, we have been reading poems. I did mention Randall and Hayden, and we read poems of theirs, didn't we? We read Ballad of Birmingham and Those Winter Sundays. Okay, so for this here, I am not looking for setting it up, the poem up in a certain way. It's got to have so and so many syllables, a nice beat to it. It's got to have so and so many words. It's got to rhyme here. It has to be at least 6 stanzas. Now remember, when we talk about stanzas, we're talking about the poetic paragraphs, okay? We'll focus on that shortly again, a little bit more. So not looking for that. I'm looking for you to not write an essay, not write a story, but in a way, set it up like a poem. A poem with no rhyming. No, I don't want you to rhyme. Please don't. This is an assignment with no rhyme. Okay? Now, 2 examples for this. Examples of how you can share a historical experience. The other board. Or a personal experience are Ballad of Birmingham and those Winter Sundays. Okay? Remember, Winter Sundays had 3 stanzas, so 3 poetic paragraphs. Now, let's use, and that's what, there, now you understand why I mentioned Randall and Hayden and not use, okay? Because we did a story of his, not one of his poems. Let me focus on Ballad of Birmingham to give you what you could do. Now, those Winter Sundays would be a personal experience, right? That's definitely. We're talking about a grown son reflecting on what happened when he was still a child and his relationship with his father. So he's going back. Now, that's a personal experience. That's a good example of one. If you have something like that you'd like to share, that's fine. Again, not too personal. Okay. Ballad of Birmingham is a historical experience, isn't it? So that is a poem that's very good as an example. So if you want to do something historical, you could use this poem. Perfect example. Same thing again with Hayden's poem. Okay? Now, the one thing, if you look at Ballad of Birmingham, you might say, well, wait a minute, Ms. Faust, it rhymes. Okay, I don't want you rhyming, but the idea of how Randall discusses a historical event, that's what I want you to focus on. Okay, I don't want you focusing on how many words, how many lines, and all that, the rhyming, none of that. Just focus on how he presents the historical event of this church bombing and the loss of lives. Okay? Now, when I talked before about stanzas, remember, like those Winter Sundays consist of 3 stanzas. Okay, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 stanzas. No, don't worry. I'll be giving you the specifics in one. So that's what I'm talking about. Those are the stanzas. See, poetic paragraphs. Instead of calling here in paragraph 1, in poetry we call it stanza. Okay? But this is a perfect example of how you want to set your mind to writing an historical poem. Okay? Any questions about that? No? Again, you are in a way, if you really want to know the type of poem you're writing, in a sense, is what we call free verse. It has no rhyme to it. We don't worry about the beat or anything. Boom, boom. We don't worry about any of that. It's just free. You express your thoughts. Poetry is about emotion. Sharing your thoughts about whatever the topic is. Okay? So if you're talking about a relationship with your siblings, you're sharing your emotions about that relationship. Okay, so that's what poetry is about. I just want you to come out and express something about the historical event, something about that personal experience. Focus on Hayden and Randall. Remember, Ballad of Birmingham, Dudley Randall. Those Winter Sundays by Robert Hayden. In case you're going, I better go find those copies again. Google those. Okay? Here are the specifics to his poem. So think of it as a free verse. There's no set lines. You're not doing a haiku. You're not doing a sonnet. You're not doing any of that. You're not doing couplets. You're not rhyming. Forget all that. Poetry is about sharing emotions about your topic. There are poems that consist of 1 line. Okay? There are short stories that consist of only 1 line. Can you believe that? Okay. So here's specifics. Make sure in your notes about the assignment that you have this. The length, in case you're wondering, I want 1 stanza. See? Okay? One stanza of at least 10 lines and no rhyming. I don't want you struggling going, what rhymes with shoe? What rhymes with him? Okay? So one stanza only of at least 10 lines. So yes, folks, you can have more than 10 lines. If you're doing, let's say, a historical, and it has something to do with World War II, a battle between the Americans and the Japanese, for instance, okay? And you're going, wait a minute, 10 lines. I'm already at line 10. I'm not even done. Okay, that's great. Continue on. If you have 5 more lines, that's fine. I'm not going to look at it and go, oh my gosh, I've got to read. How many lines? Oh, 25 lines. Oh, sorry. 10 lines, I'm done. No, I'd be very disappointed in reading line 10 and going, what's the outcome? What happened here? Who won? Who lost? What? Okay. All right. Of at least 10 lines. Use details. Use your adjectives and your adverbs. Adverbs, a lot of them have ly. Your adjectives like blue, short, smart, exciting. Okay. Again, think about your parts of speech. Your adjectives describe the noun or pronoun. Your adverbs describe verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. Please remember that. Use details. Don't just write the sky. He looked up at the sky. Okay, my sky looks really grayish right now because I think it's going to rain. And your sky is a baby blue. Well, tell me that so I see your sky and not look at my sky. Okay. And if appropriate, now if you noticed, in Ballad of Birmingham, we do have dialogue when people are talking. Remember, dialogue means two, at least two people. Monologue is just one. Right now, I'm doing a monologue. If you're technically, it's a monologue. It's just me talking. Okay, but I'm dialoguing, I think. Okay, so a dialogue. A conversation. That's not the one I want. No. Okay, mother dear, may I go downtown? Step out to play. And then, no, baby, no, you may not go. So have a dialogue if it's appropriate. Okay, if appropriate, meaning if in your personal experience, something that happened to you, that's what we mean with experience, something that happened in history, in an event, an experience. If in that experience there was conversation going, woo, that's a great detail. Dialogue, whether it's a dialogue, monologue, it's great detail. It makes it even better. Just keep in mind, when you're doing dialogue, please make sure you use your quotation marks. Okay? And that's wording. Okay? Are there any questions? So your reference are Hayden's poem and Randall's poem. Okay? So for this poem, don't sit there and go, well, we never went through. You've read examples. You've read for the class. They are examples. You're doing a free verse. You're just putting your thoughts down with no rhyming, no setup. We're not worried about that. We're not worried about that. Share, not as a story or definitely not as an essay, but more in poetry form. So when you do poetry, when you do like Ballad of Birmingham, that's not the entire event, is it? More happened, but he can't share everything, but it has power, doesn't it? Same thing with those Winter Sundays. There is so much more that Hayden could have written. With the speaker, he could have shared so much more about his relationship with his father. But no. The speaker only shared enough to get us to say, oh, wow, that's too bad that he didn't appreciate his father when, he was alive and he was a child. Okay. Powerful. Okay? But if you do have questions and you're stuck, contact me. Remember, free verse. Verse means words. In poetry form. In other words, it's short. Shorten it. Not a story or an essay. Okay. Also, your daily question. What is your favorite thing to do for fun? Do you like to go skiing, window shopping, go to the movies, travel places? So, what is your favorite thing to do for fun? That's your daily question for today. Okay, should you have any questions whatsoever, again, contact me. But this is your assignment for today. Yes, it is due today. On regular sheet of paper. Please don't put it on a blank sheet of paper. Unless you don't have lined paper. Okay, this is your assignment. And one more time. Perfect example. It doesn't matter if it's historical or personal, but just the idea of how to share. That's the key. How do you share an experience with your reader? Okay? So please, if you don't have the copies and you're, really wondering, Google again. Randall's Ballad of Birmingham. Hayden's Those Winter Sundays. Okay. And we must end with our jingles. Again, it's due today. But any problems, you know what to do. So I believe class is over. I hope you have a great day. Let it be fun. Share, short, full of emotion, passion for your subject. That's what poetry is about. I'm just giving you a flavor. It's a review also of their poetry. Yeah, isn't that amazing? Because you might be like, okay. Just remember, let it be fun. Till next time, bye-bye.